Hey guys, hopefully everyone is doing well. Today's target is to solve question number 13.2. It's your second question of this chapter. The name of chapter is Leverage and Capital Structure. Your book is Managerial Finance and the writer is Lawrence Gitman. So keep remember that it's 13th edition and keep in your mind that the writer name and the book name so that you can understand how to follow and where to follow. This particular question is specifically associated with break-even point, and we have already discussed in first question that break-even point is basically a point where you are not getting any profit or you are not getting any loss as well. So here your break even point where you are not getting any profit or you are not getting any loss. In other meaning, whatever you are earning, which is your revenue, is equal to whatever you are investing, which is your cost. So break even point is a point where your revenues are equal to your cost, and you are at that stage not earning anything. And finally, you have seen that if you are not earning anything, you are not losing anything as well. This is your break even point. And look at the volume of the question. From here you can see there are three firm F, G and H. These are three firms and values are given as sale price, variable cost and fixed operating cost, and you are needed to calculate your break even point. Right now what we are doing, we are trying to understand break even point, the point where you will not be able to get any profit and you are not losing anything at the same time. And here please note it down, break even point in terms of unit is asked. So there are two different types of break even point. Right now we are discussing break even point, but in terms of units you are discussing, it is different. I will let you know how. For this you need to have fixed cost and then you will divide it with CM per unit. This way you can calculate your break-even point, but before starting it, there must be some understanding related to fixed cost. And what is this CM? Fixed cost is a cost which would never be altered. It would remain same. Never means within a particular financial year or accounting year, this cost would not be changed. The cost which will remain the same. Example we have discussed and we have taken the concept as well. First you understand the meaning. The cost which will remain same and it's not being changed. Either you are working for 1 day in a week or you are working 7 days. You are working for 15 days in a month or you are working for 30 days. You are working for 8 hours or 24 hours you are working, this cost would remain same. I will let you know with the help of example that would be more easy for you. Let's say you are a manufacturing concern and you have hired a building on rent. So rent of factory building. Your building is on rent and you are paying that rent per month. Now let me know if you are working for 1 day or you are working for 15 days or you are working for whole month for 30 days. Would rent be changed? No, rent would remain same. Even if you are not working at all in a particular month and your factory was closed, you have to pay your rent in a fixed way. You are working with 20 labor workers or you are with 30 labor workers, your rent would be fixed. So kindly understand fixed cost is a type of cost which will never be altered within a financial year and which is same. Either you are working at your peak or you are working for number of hours less than that of standard, more than of standard. If you are working for large number of workers, you are working for small number of workers, it has no concern. with level of production. Your cost will remain same. So this is first thing which you should have in your mind, fixed cost, the cost which will never alter. Opposite to this is variable cost, and as name is suggesting, a cost which is not fixed. Simple as this. If you will increase your level of production, this cost will increase. If you will decrease your level of production, this cost will decrease. So again, we can take example, but first just repeat this definition with yourself. Variable cost, which is not fixed and varies. If you are working for 3 days and you are working for 6 days, so variable cost for 6 days would be more than that of variable cost for 3 days. It changes due to change in level of production. Example we may have is your electricity bill, and other examples are also present. Electricity bill, if you have, so what does that mean? If you are working for 8 hours and you are working for 10 hours, obviously electricity bill for 10 hours would be more than that of electricity bill for 8 hours. It means you have increased your level of production. If you have increased your level of working hours, this cost will increase. If you will decrease your level of production and level of working hours, this cost would be decreased. And example, you can understand electricity bill would be increased as you will increase your level of production. Electricity bill would be decreased as you will decrease your level of production. So these are two concepts, and please make your mind break even point where there is no profit, no loss. Three concepts we have discussed. And what is this CM? It is basically contribution margin, and contribution margin is a technical term. It has a formula. Like we have calculated gross profit, in the similar way there is a concept of contribution margin. When you will subtract your variable cost, look at here, we have already understood variable cost and it would be given in your question. When you will subtract your variable cost from total amount of sales, it would be your contribution margin. So what you will do, sales minus variable cost. In this way you can calculate your contribution margin. Beside this, please note it down, we have contribution margin per unit. So in the similar way you can calculate your contribution margin per unit as well. But for this, a lighter change you will make for your first formula. Look over here, you have your formula for contribution margin, sale minus variable cost. So what you will do, you will write same above formula, but instead of sales you will write sales per unit, and then you will subtract, look over here, variable cost. So you will write variable cost but per unit. So in this way your next formula is also ready, and it is your responsibility. Please take your time and repeat these formulas for 3 to 5 times. Right now you can stop this lecture, take a screenshot over here and repeat these formulas for 3 to 4 times. Memorize them. It would be quite helpful for calculation, not only for this question but for your whole chapter. So here we are coming back, break even point units. How could you calculate it? You need to have your fixed cost and it would be divided by CM per unit. And with the help of these formulas, we will solve it. Since our requirement has only one factor, you can see over here what is operating break-even point in terms of unit. For the time being, I will let you know what is break-even point in terms of amount as well. It is important so that you can distinguish both elements. So break-even point, but in terms of dollar or in terms of sales, or amount can also be written. So this is your break even point in terms of sales. Here you can see you have fixed cost. In this formula you will also use your fixed cost. It would be divided by CM ratio. Please note it down. You will have to see in your question what kind of break-even point is asked. As you can see, break-even point is present in terms of sales and break-even point in terms of unit. Both are your formulas. And here, let me arrange it. So this is your formula. Okay. And read out over here, break even in terms of unit and break even in terms of sales. I should write hyphen and go back to the question. What is our requirement? It is operating break even point in terms of unit. So these are three firms and we will be focusing separately. First we will be dealing with firm F. For F, what we are going to do, break even point in terms of unit, for that we need to have fixed cost. Fixed cost is given in your question. Let it mention over here. 45,000 is your fixed cost. Then you need your CM per unit. For this, we need to put it a formula. Look over here, CM per unit we have calculated, and you will use the same formula over here. CM per unit abbreviation I'm using. For this, you need to have sales per unit and you will subtract variable cost per unit, variable cost per unit. So in this way you can calculate your CM per unit. Why I'm using this abbreviation? I was having little less space. Okay, I can make it instead of abbreviation, variable cost per unit. So this is your formula for CM per unit. Now go back to the question and see how much sales per unit or how much variable cost per unit is. Look over here, sales per unit. Read, sales per unit is 18. We can put over here 18. Then you need to subtract. Please follow this formula, variable cost per unit. And look over here, variable cost per unit 6.75. Put over here 6.75. So in this way you can complete your CM per unit. Statement has been completed. We can now put it on our calculator. 18 minus 6.75. So we have got our answer, CM per unit, and that is 11.75. Go back to the previous step where you need to put CM per unit, and we have calculated it, and that is 11.25. 11.25. Then again get back, reverse gear, and seek your formula. This was your formula for break even point in terms of unit. You need to put fixed cost. Fixed cost written over here 45,000. Instead of going back to the question, we have mentioned over here, and CM per unit was calculated 11.25. So our statement has been completed. We can now put it on calculator, and what you will do, 45,000 divided by 11.25. So in this way your answer has arrived. Let it see. Okay, you can see there are three answers. First answer is handwritten 4,000. Why I have written over here instead of going to answer sheet? It would be little time seeking, so I have written these answers over here. So first answer was 4,000. It means firm F is completed. Let it mark as it has been done. For 4,000, first firm was F, and same procedure we will be doing for G firm. But what is important, you have to understand this, what is meaning of this break even unit. That means If you will be manufacturing 4,000 number of unit, you will be at your break even point. That means you will not earning anything, not losing anything. How would you believe this, or how would you be assured of this? For that you must know how to make contribution margin income statement. Though it's not part of question, we will prove it by manufacturing 4,000 number of unit. You will be at break even point. But before that, let our question to be ended, and those who wants to know how to prove it, they can continue this lecture, otherwise you can stop. So second firm is G. Yes, G. And we will be doing the same thing. These are the three steps with which you can calculate your break even point. Very first thing is you must know how to calculate your break even in terms of units. For that we have a formula. You need to put fixed cost, and it would be divided by CM per unit. Next step is to seek how much fixed cost is present in your question. Let's go back, and for G firm it is 30,000. So you can put fixed cost as 30,000. Excel usually copies. And then what we need, CM per unit. For that we will put CM, contribution margin per unit formula. And as we know that CM per unit would be calculated by taking sales per unit, and it would be, we will subtract variable cost per unit from sales per unit. Answer would be considered as your CM per unit. So let's go back to the question, and here for second firm your sale price is 21. Let's put 21 over here. Then we will be following this formula. Minus is the sign, minus variable cost per unit. So firm G, variable cost is 13.50. Put over here 13.5. Statement has been completed. Now you can put it on your calculator. 21 minus 13.5. So we have got our answer for CM per unit. Let's highlight it. So this was the way with which you have calculated your CM per unit. Now you can place over here 7.5. Both factors are finalized. We can use our formula. First we need fixed cost, and we have mentioned over here 30,000 is your fixed cost. You need to divide it with CM per unit, which recently have calculated 7.5. Statement is completed. Now you can put it on your calculator. 30,000 divided by 7.5. We have got second answer. For firm G it is 4,000, and you can see that answers are mentioned over here. Firm A 4,000, firm B again 4,000. So for second firm we have completed our break even in terms of unit. Let's mark it as it has been done. Now same procedure, three steps you will be doing for your third firm, which is H. Please let me settle it. Actually sometimes it happens that you must have elegance in your question, so I'm trying to make it presentable form. Make this question presentable form. Next step is to see for G firm, for FGH firm I think. And let's save the time, and whatever you will be doing over here, you will be doing same for H firm as well. Okay guys, so for the time being we are deleting it. I have just used the space. Very first thing is your break even point. Look, it was easy. to copy paste. But why I'm writing again? Because when you will be performing this question, or when you will be solving this question, you will have to write it again and again. So why not I should write it as well again and again. Break even point in terms of unit, you need your fixed cost, and you will divide it with cm per unit. For this, what we need is fixed cost. First we will go to the question and we'll seek fixed cost for H firm. Again, Excel had taken it. Fixed cost for H firm is 90,000. So let's put 90,000 over here. This is H firm. And second thing what we need is CM per unit. And how do you calculate CM per unit? You, you will have its formula, and for that you need to put your sales per unit, or you can save the space, sales per unit, and then you will subtract your variable cost per unit. This way you will complete your CM per unit. Since we have repeated it for so many times, I'm sure that you will have this formula now in your mind. Let's get back to the question and what you want to do. Sale per unit. Okay, for H firm you can see that sale price per unit is 30. Over here put 30, and then please follow the formula. You need to subtract your variable cost. Go back to the question. Variable cost is 12. So just put 12 over here, 30 and 12. Okay. Statement has been completed. Now you can calculate your CM per unit. 30 minus 12, you have got your answer 18. But you have calculated CM per unit. Next, previously you have calculated you have mentioned your fixed cost. Now CM, how much? 18. Alright guys, requirement of formula has been completed. You were in need to put fixed cost, and fixed cost here is, it has been mentioned 90,000, and you need to divide it with CM per unit, which has been calculated as 18. This way your statement has been completed, and let's put it on calculator. You have got your answer 5,000 break even point in terms of unit. Let's see, look over here, 5,000, third answer, and answer has been matched for H entry as well. So from here you can see that there were three firms. This was your firm F, and you have calculated 4,000. Then you have your G firm, you have calculated 4,000. Then you have H firm, and for that 5,000 has been calculated. Now what I was saying, you have to, okay, if you were here to see this lecture only for the solution of question, then just consider that lecture is over. You have your solution. I am reviewing it. You were having F, G and H, and three answered 4,000, 4,000, 5,000. Here is your first firm F, you have 4,000. Second firm G, and you have 4,000. Third firm you have H, and answer is 5,000. So 4,000, 4,000, 5,000 answers are completed and even reviewed and matched as well. So what I was saying, if you were here just to see the solution of this question, then consider it as lecture has been ended. You may go now. But those who wants to understand what is meaning of these 4,000 number of units, for that we will prove it. Break even point was the point which we have discussed over here, where there is no revenue, where there is no profit, no loss. Revenue is equal to cost. Now we will prove it if we will manufacture 4,000 number of unit in firm F. We will be at a point where our net margin would be zero. For that purpose, let's use this space, and you must know a new concept. which is called contribution margin format income statement. Contribution margin format income statement, and why it is not merging which is I was telling you contribution margin format income statement, and with this we can prove that this income statement includes first factor sales, then you will subtract your variable cost, you will get contribution margin, then you will subtract your fixed cost, you will get your net margin. Okay, these are two main headings which you will calculate. Over here, first you will mention your units, over here, number of units, and then you will write per unit. I'm just writing PU for per unit, and then you will calculate the amount. Okay, any firm can be put, but we will see what firm F is doing. We have calculated 4,000 number of units, and we will put 4,000 number of unit over here. What we are doing, I'm repeating it. Your net margin should be equal to 0 over here. Even I haven't put any amount, but according to your concept, break-even point is a point where you are not earning anything, where you are not facing any loss, and where you are not getting any profit. It means you are earning 0. Your earning is 0. 4,000 were the unit in firm F, which is a conclusion that if firm F is manufacturing 4,000 number of units, this firm would be at a stage where there will be no profit, no loss. Per unit sale price is mentioned in your question 18. So you will be putting over here 18, and kindly keep it in mind, number of units for sale, variable cost and contribution margin would always be same. So you can put 4,000 over here, 4,000 over here. Now we need to see how much is your variable cost, and that is 6.75. So put 6.75 over here. At this stage you will calculate your contribution margin, which is difference between your variable cost and sales. Over here I would have to put an ending line, because after calculation you will get your answer of contribution margin. So please understand, as in formula you have seen, sale price per unit would be used to subtract variable cost. So variable cost would be subtracted from sales, then you will get your contribution margin, and less is mentioned over here as well. So what you will do, 18 is your sale price per unit, then you will subtract per unit variable cost, which is 6.75. You have got your answer for contribution margin per unit. Here you will calculate your amount, and you know very well amount would be calculated by multiplying units and per unit. Units are 4,000, and then you will multiply per unit sale price 18, you will get total price of sales. Units are 4,000, and you will multiply it with per unit variable cost 6.75, you will get total cost of total variable cost, and then contribution margin. As you can see that this formula is literally same, sale minus variable cost, with which you will get your contribution margin. Amount of sale was 72,000, and you will subtract your variable cost, which is 27,000. So you have got your contribution margin. Let's get back to the question, and you have your fixed cost, which is 45,000. Put 45,000 in front of fixed cost, and as you can see, your contribution margin and your fixed cost have been same. it means your answer would be 0, which was already mentioned even before start of this proof. So here you can see that for firm F, we have proved it that if firm F is manufacturing 4,000 number of units, 4,000 number of units, it would be at a stage where there will not be any profit or there will not be any loss. For firm, we have proved it, and it is requested to please prove for G and H firm as well when you get time. And in this way we have completed our question. Why I haven't proved G and H? It's absolutely similar. In the same way you will put units of G firm, sale price and variable cost per unit for G firm. This way you will get your contribution margin. Fixed cost would be put for G firm. You will again get your zero profit, because for all three firms break even number of units are showing that these firms will get zero profit when they are manufacturing break even number of units. So hopefully you have understood this question. We have solved all three firms break even in terms of unit, answers were matched, question has been completed, and solution is in front of you. Though you have viewed the solution, but even then you are not needed to write it as it is without understanding. I'm openly offering you, even you have got the solution, if you have any trouble, any problem in understanding, you can text, you can message, or you can directly meet me for your queries. I will surely be available to answer your questions instantly. 13.2 is completed, and hopefully we will be meeting soon again for solution of any other question in future. Up till then, please take care of yourself, and I'm requesting you to please pray for me as well. And one another request is, please repeat this question for 3 to 4 times. And when you will repeat these three answers or three break-even points, beside this, it is a humble request to please prove for G and H firm as well. So in this way, I might be more satisfied that students have repeated the question for 3 to 4 times, and it would be very helpful for you to memorize it. Okay, it's 13.2 is ended, and we are going to close this lecture. It's time to end. Thank you very much for your time. It's time to say goodbye. Allah Hafiz.